How's it going, everybody? This video is going to be on a couple different topics, but they all go hand in hand with one another. One of the questions that I get asked often when giving somebody a bid on their project is very simple. Why is your estimate X amount higher than somebody else's estimate? And at the end of the day, what that really comes down to is the quality of work that you put into the project, the vision to be able to carry the project through, and also the amount of effort and time that you're going to put onto the project. So one of the things we're going to go over is how to build support posts for a covered deck or a covered patio, and coupled with that is how to trim them out. So one of the things that I've done on covered patios and decks is build the support posts and the support beams with multi-ply material, whether it be 2x material or LVLs. We glue those together and those are going to be our support structure. And then we box those in. So in order to box those in, you need to use some sort of material. A lot of times I use a 1x material and dimension it on site, and we trim everything out accordingly. When we trim out the support posts and beams, what I like to do is use a locking miter bit to join all of the sides together to give the appearance of a solid wood beam. It finishes out much nicer, but it also adds a significant amount of time, effort, and knowledge into the project, which is going to be the differentiating cost between your entry-level run-of-the-mill project and having a custom, high-quality finished product. So let's get to it.
As you can see on the 4 support posts, we did not use a solid 4x4 or 6x material. I like to use multi-ply support posts built to the dimension that you need in order to support the beam that's carrying the structure. So in this case, we use 3 layers of 2x6 and a layer of 1/2-inch plywood. Each layer is glued together and screwed together, and this is going to give us more consistency on the post, less moisture content, and it's going to be way more stable from twisting, cracking, checking in the future. And you're not going to see these layers once everything is finished and trimmed out. We are going to trim this one out with clear cedar wrapped post, and we'll show some pictures of that here in just a few minutes. Don't forget to take a minute, go through your tools and set everything back to 0 and save yourself the headache in the future. Once you're ready to start making your trim pieces to wrap your column, make sure you cut your pieces anywhere from 6 to 10 or 12 inches longer than you think you're going to need. This will allow for air when you start to route your material. The cedar we were using for this project was almost 7/8 of an inch thick. In order to use the locking miter bit, we had to get our material down to 3/4 of an inch. So we ran everything through the thickness planer, which also gave us a very consistent thickness for all 4 sides. Once you have everything planed down to the proper thickness that you need, the next step would be to run all of your material through your table saw or your job site saw in order to get the correct width. Once you figure out the correct width and you run your material through the saw, make sure you pay attention to the finished face and make sure you have that positioned properly on the saw to minimize any tear out. You're going to be running this through a locking miter bit anyway, so you're going to eliminate a lot of the tear out, but it's just good practice to make sure you have your finished face up when you're running it through a table saw and not down to prevent any tear out. I'm sure some of you watching this video have wondered multiple times, how is he using 12-inch pieces or 24-inch pieces of pine in order to accomplish an 8-foot cedar post? Well, unfortunately, we forgot to take video footage of building these posts on site, so what I'm trying to do is simulate that exact same process in the shop. So excuse me for not having the exact footage, but this is the exact same process we would go through on site or in the shop. This isn't the best camera angle, and I understand that. But just to explain exactly what we're doing here is we're running our material through the router or router table. So a column is going to have 4 sides. When you're using a locking miter bit, 2 of the sides will lay down flat and 2 of the sides will stand up on its edge. This is what allows the 4 sides to mate together like a jigsaw puzzle and form one solid column. It's always good practice as well when you're laying it down to run it through the router twice to get a more clean finish. You're going to have trouble doing that standing it up on the edge because you don't have a bunch of material to run along the router table. At this point, we have our pieces rough cut to length, planed down to the proper thickness, ripped on the table saw, and we ran them through our router table. Next, we want to group our pieces together for column 1, column 2, column 3, column 4. Once we do that, dry fit everything to make sure it fits nice. Once you dry fit, glue up 3 of your 4 sides together. You want to leave the 4th side off so that you can put the 3-sided column around the post, nail it on, and then put the 4th piece on, which will completely conceal the support column. What we've wound up with is 5 support posts that are wrapped in clear cedar trim, yet give the appearance of a solid cedar column. But we aren't going to have the ongoing headache and maintenance of a solid column with twisting, warping, and cracking. It's also a stronger way to build the structural post. We built this entire patio, so if you have questions about the post, the trim, or anything else, let us know in the comments.